Welcome, time for some art fun. Today, we're going to start our long and delicious journey through my 20 sketchbooks that I filled in a year and a half. I've thought a lot about how to do this, and I think it's a given we're going to have to break it up because it'll be like a 15-hour video if we do it all together. So first I'm going to go through the first 5 sketchbooks and we'll check the time, and if I've got time, I'll keep going. If not, we'll do a 4-parter. So bear with me. We'll start at the beginning. This was the first sketchbook that I started endeavoring back into in 2017. I don't know what occurred to me, but I just saw a coaster on my desk at work and I thought, I just want to kind of try to draw that. So I did, in pencil. I don't know what kind of sketchbook this is. The paper is pretty flimsy. I never tried to do anything with it. Here's another 2017 one. I just really dip in my toe. This was a mountain landscape from a photo reference, also in 2017. And you'll see I have these tabs at the top. That's to help me skip anything I don't have permission to show you, because when you start drawing or doing art, usually you're doing a lot of copying. This is actually a leaf from my backyard. So far you're not seeing much copying or any copying, but at some point we get into it. And I asked permission from the people that I could get permission from, and I got a lot of permissions, but I didn't get them all. So hold on. This was a mandala that I did, a sunflower mandala. I'm not really good at them. I'm not good at straight lines. This is the foot of the David statue. I just pulled up a picture of the David and thought that looks really hard and gave it a try. This is another nature reference, just out and about. This was Jazz's hand course. This is not like, doesn't look anything like what he was doing, but I was just basically taking his course in my sketchbook, which I think is what it's for. So that was really, really awesome. I was so proud of this one. This is a psychedelic drawing of my dog. This was a statue, but it really just looks like a photo reference, but it was from a statue. These were ideas. I did a lot of Mira Byler's sketchbook ideas for your sketchbook, and I did a sketchbook goals page, which was her idea from one of those videos. This is just a little penguin. This is a self-portrait. This is actually a pretty good self-portrait from a picture right after my thyroid was taken out. Maybe that's TMI, but I had thyroid cancer, and one of my best friends from college sent me a bouquet of flowers that said on the card, "Thyroids are overrated." And it just made me die laughing. I had sent him this picture, and that was his response in a text. I can't remember if it was also on the flower card or if it was just in the text around the same time, but that's what I always think of when I see this. Is I was so serious and I was so sad. I was only, very young and diagnosed with cancer, and it was persistent, and I fought it for the next, 5 or 6 years, but he cracked me up. And my sister was the same. I was telling her when I was getting tested for the cancer, I'm not going to have it. Like, no one in our family has it. Why would I have it? It makes no sense. Like, I'll have cancer when pigs fly. And then I got it, and she sent me, among other things that were making me laugh, which was so necessary, a little glass figurine of a pig with pink wings, and I kept it on my desk at work. It made me so happy. So I like to laugh at my trauma. I don't know about you, but I process trauma through laughter. So I really love that self-portrait. And I was just doing some studying with the color wheel and trying to take some notes. I love using my sketchbook for stuff like that. And just the different color schemes, monochromatic, analogous. I don't even know how to say that. Triadic? Tetradic? Some fancy artist in the comments, let us know if I pronounced that right. More fun dog drawings. I tried to kind of tune my dog. This one's definitely my favorite. I love that idea of tuning your dog, like making a tune out of your pet. Super fun. This is just an eye. A lot of people practice eyes. Mira Byler was doing a lot of eye practice, so I decided I would try it. I really like how this came out. I also tried to practice this is a picture that I printed off the internet, and this was my pencil drawing. I really liked that ability to just quickly look back and forth without having to look at my phone. I did a lot of just looked up cute stuff on Pinterest and then would try to recreate it in my sketchbook. But sometimes, this was so funny, sometimes it would be from YouTube videos, but this was like a challenge to draw something from life in less than 5 minutes. And this is one of my dog's chew toys. It looks like Chewbacca because I think my dog looks like, no, not Chewbacca. What are they called? The animals that look like Shih Tzus in the forest with the hoodies. That was it laying on the floor. And I think it just came out so creepy. It's so funny to me. That's a buffalo in multicolor. I'm really not super comfortable with markers, and you can probably tell. Some nose practice, a really terrible portrait that I'm really not excited about. Something okay. Okay. Ryan Reynolds, my friends. Anyone? Okay. Okay, got a little giraffe in clothes. Yeah, and that's it for sketchbook 1. That was one of those, you know, those little dolls the reference dolls? I didn't actually have a reference doll. I just made that up. I thought that was funny as a way to end sketchbook number 1. For sketchbook number 2, I decided to try to draw on it. I never really did that again. So I don't know what was going on there. Okay, so this time what I've done, I do have these to skip, but I can't skip the first page. So I just covered it up enough that I wouldn't be bothering anyone's copyright. So this was from April 11th, 2020 to May 1st, 2020. So I finished this entire sketchbook in less than a month. What you have to understand is I was being ridiculously prolific at this time. Like, I was just drawing every single day. I would find something I really liked, and then I would try to recreate it, and was just having the time of my life. The stickies I thought would help more, but they're not. I'm just like having to look through. This was my first attempt at watercolor skin tone. I thought this was horrifying. I don't anymore think it's horrifying. I actually think it's really great for a first try. It's certainly not my style now, but this was my first time trying to watercolor a face. This was just a cute little baby deer. My husband's a picture of my husband, but I covered him up to give him privacy. But I was drawing Rainbow Row in Charleston, and he said, why don't you put like a manatee with a top hat? So I did. What do you guys think? Did the manatee with the top hat add? Some people say I should have just left the pretty Rainbow Row, but they might not have realized that I was on my way to creating cute art. This was a page where I was just fangirling Mira Byler. I'd ordered my palette pal, which you've seen on my travel kit that I will post a link to. This was her business card. This was a Linzer tart that I drew. I love Linzer tarts, and I was really in the mood for one. This is an original little ink flower. These are Visual Mind tutorials. I'm going to be linking a playlist called References, and that's going to have the videos, links for the videos for every video that I reference in here. But Visual Mind is a channel. As of today, it has like over 60,000 subscribers. She's wonderful. She does a lot of gouache tutorials. She was a huge part of my practice when I was first starting. So I highly recommend her if you're practicing. You really start with copying before you get your skills together enough to start doing stuff on your own. Like Exhibit A, not skilled. I ripped this up. It was a whole face. I ripped it up. I hated it so much. And my husband said, no, you've got to keep that. You don't know that you're going to get better and better, and you're going to want to see that, and you're going to like things about that. And I do. I really like how the eyes are so shiny and the lips look so shiny. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough, folks. And these were some of my favorites in this whole sketchbook. These were my first efforts to draw my husband, and we were dying laughing because he couldn't look less like this. We were joking that this just looks like a totally different person. This one looks like the meme from Bridesmaids where she goes, "You do," on the plane. I'm gonna have to find it and put it in here, the meme. And this one I think looks more like a more feminine version of him, but still somewhat like him. I mean, I was really trying, guys. I was really trying. And then I've got this little guy that a lot of people do from a very popular picture. I think he's adorable. Some people, I was just practicing different facial expressions, different ethnicities, just from random pictures on Pinterest. I need to get better at that. These are just photo references. Another Visual Mind tutorial. This one was the Hemi gouache and some watercolor. Another Visual Mind tutorial. It's really funny because as we go through these, we'll actually be going through my YouTube journey too. That's my husband and our adorable dog. Looks more like him. I really had to try. This one I did a grid. I don't know if you can see that, but I was struggling so hard to do anything accurate with these two, the loves of my life here, that I just did a grid from a picture to try to look back and forth and get it somewhat accurate. It's a method. If you haven't heard of it, leave me a comment. I can do a video on different methods. Another visual mind, I believe. Definitely another visual mind. I love this tutorial. This is one of her most popular ones. I got so many compliments from my family on this. I don't know about you, but when I was first starting, every single text I would send my family and said, so that is sketchbook 2. But yeah, when I was first starting, my parents did a lot of, is that original? Is that original? And I had to just tell them, nothing's original. I'm not good yet. Like, stop it. Nothing's gonna be original. Stop asking. It's really making me sad. So this one was from May 2nd to May 18th. Holy smokes, look how fast that is. Whoa. That's my dog in one of our chairs downstairs. He's so cute. I really liked that one. Okay. This is Baltimore. There's like a really cute little part of Baltimore. I already forgot the name of it. But this is Daniel Smith watercolor, and I was very inspired by urban sketchers at this time. Some more random male faces. I was really struggling with male faces. Red Rocks Amphitheater. I really love how that came out. That was pretty accurate. That's just how they kind of feel to me whenever I watch a concert there. This is my puppy in Hemi Gouache, just with random colors. I love how this came out, but look how little it is. I think that's kind of apropos because he's so little. He's such a little guy. Couple of landscapes. I like how that came out. I like the mountains. And I liked the color scheme of this one. There's not going to be much to see in this one because this is a lot of Pinterest references and references from the 4 artists I couldn't get a hold of to get their permissions. But this is an original. We went to Utah in the mountains, and this was like a little popular cafe. And I had taken a picture when we went there a long time ago, and I just did this as my practice urban sketch. Wasn't super proud of it, but it was a lot of fun to make. This is Mesa Verde in Colorado. It's a really cool place. You should definitely Google it. And I liked this, and I loved making it. But I do think it's a lot more impressive in person. When I turn to this page, I'm always like, ooh, like really rich colors, and I don't think that translates that well. Florals, my bane of my existence. I struggle so hard to make florals. Not my thing. Everyone has something they struggle with. I'm always amazed at people who can just bang out gorgeous florals like Sketches and Scrubs, and Mira Byler. She's really good at that too. These are from Teoh Yi Chie. He's from parkerblogs.com. He's like over 200 and something, 250,000 maybe subscriber channel on YouTube. And this was his test piece when he got the Primatech, Daniel Smith Primatech. So when I got the Daniel Smith Primatech, I just did the same one that he did to see if I could do it, just to practice. Here's another one from his channel. I really love how he does trees. They're so vibrant. And so I just practiced with actually the tree that he did, but I'm linking a bunch of his tutorials, and this one was original. I don't know how I got that texture, but these literally look like chips. Like you could pick them off, but it's just pink. It's crazy. I just loved the texture of this. It's very much not my style or anything I've done before or since, but definitely enjoyed it. Really liked this. I was super proud of this face. This one, not so much, but still a person, recognizable as a human. And then some more just test pages. I'm getting a little better at this point at doing those test pages. And that was when I put together my Daniel Smith big blue palette from my review all my watercolors video, that palette, that's how I designed it. And that's it for sketchbook 3. Sketchbook 4. And it'll be really interesting to see if we can trace the journey from copying to creating. Do you know what I mean? I mean, copying is a sort of creation, but it's not it's usually not what people want to do. They want to develop a style. I certainly did. And this one was from May 19th to June 12th. So I'm starting to take a little bit longer, but that's because I'm starting to have different sketchbooks going at once at this time. Oh, I was super proud of this eye. And I was starting to just try to get skin tones around an eye, but I really liked how reflective that looked. And this is just a reference to Reardon metal. This is Fort Collins in 2019. I really loved making this. Again, you can see Teoh's influence on me with this. It really gets heavy in this one. Like, look at that tree. That's straight up what I learned from his tutorials. Obviously nowhere near as good as him, but this was my first try after Baltimore. So I guess my second try. So Baltimore was my first try. This was my second try. And there's another one in here. Something you should see is I also take notes. Like if I read a book, an art book, I'll take notes in my sketchbook. So that's from one that I was following. That's from one that I was following at the time. Really good book on perspective. Another Teoh. This is inspired. That means that's actually a tree in my yard. I just tried to do it in the style of his tutorial. Handsome. Pretty. Here it is. Okay, so this is the next one that I did. Guys, I was so stinking proud of this. I was so excited about this. This is a picture from a reference I took while I was there. And I love how the mountains came out. And the buildings, and I was really working on perspective. I kind of struggled with the van. This is an Ian Fennelly piece. Ian Fennelly is like Teoh. They're probably my two most favorite urban sketchers. This is my most proud copy. This is a straight up copy. He did a really fun tutorial that you literally could just follow the whole thing. It's on YouTube, linked in the references, and I loved that. So happy when I turned to that in my sketchbook. Here's a Teoh painting of Amsterdam that I followed along to one of his videos. This is my friend's dog. She has a schnauzer, and I saw such a cute picture of that schnauzer that I had to make it. If I were doing this again, I would do a lot more shading on the tongue, but honestly, I wouldn't change much else. I think that's a cute pup. I was making this from a photo, and then I had the leftover colors and just wanted to do an abstract with it because I just thought they looked good together on the page. This is inspired by another Ian Fennelly, but I did it in a lot dreamier, mistier way, and I really like how that came out. And then this was the last one. This is when I must have started watching Arlie Bean. Arlie Bean is not one that I got permission from, so I can't show you any of my copies of her stuff. I just didn't hear from her. I'm sure she's very busy. She's got kids. She's got a huge channel. But this is definitely more her style. I was definitely experimenting with her style. This is not her style. Let's be clear. Her style is amazing. This was me fumbling around while watching her videos and being influenced by her. Let's put it that way. And nothing at the end. So that's it for sketchbook number 4. Okay, sketchbook number 5. Let me be clear. This is my favorite sketchbook I've ever had. My favorite watercolor sketchbook, and they're almost impossible to find. It's a Pentalic watercolor sketchbook. The paper is my favorite paper I've ever used in any sketchbook. This is an original portrait. I love this portrait. I'm so proud of it still. So even with all the experience I've had since summer 2020, this is one of my favorites. I definitely know the colors aren't coming across, but there's a lot of pink and blue in her face. I just love that portrait. And then this was just playing around with an Aurora Borealis type looking thing. Original Gentleman in Hemi Maya. It's my first attempt at a gouache portrait. This is another gouache portrait. I love this one. This is probably my second favorite one in this whole book. I'm obsessed with this painting. He cracks me up. Love him. This is another watercolor portrait. I love developing this style of leaving a lot of whites and just kind of suggesting hair. I still love doing that. Another gouache portrait. A little sad for how I usually feel, but oh, these are so cute. Okay, I love these. This is from Katyushka Art and I saw these on Pinterest and then had to hunt this artist down on Instagram and ask for permission, and luckily got it because these are some of my favorite paintings in this whole book. These are paintings I made of Pinterest pictures of sculptures that this artist does. These sculptures are so stinking cute and I love painting them. And this is when I started to realize that painting cute things definitely made me the happiest. Happier than, you know, than painting beautiful ladies like that. These made me happier. A little bit of a sad looking gentleman, but he's smiling. I really loved this, even though the proportions are not great, but I just loved how strong she looks. Like I kind of imagined her in armor. And this is a terrible perspective. Like most people might skip this and not show you how terrible, but that's a terrible, terrible painting of a person, but showing you anyway. But that's what it looked like, and I thought she was beautiful. Terrible butchering of aspens. You can start to see I struggle with botanicals. Another sculpture, I really liked using Daniel Smith titanium gray for sculpture stuff. Love that. Another sort of nighttime aurora borealis feeling sky. Playing a lot with light. You can't probably tell. Sunlight. These are still Visual Mind. So more Visual Mind gouache tutorials. Super fun. This was just an original watercolor. I was having some fun with dry brush techniques trying to learn. Another portrait with really bad perspective, really bad proportions. This was a photo of a lady sticking her face through some foliage and she got a little too green, a little too muddy, but still really fun. Another super sad person, but I really love this one. Another serious person, but I think she's beautiful. I really struggled with faces back then, and like everything actually. These are all way too hard lines, but I still like looking at that one when I turn back to it. And then just some bamboo to finish out my Pentalic, oh, my beautiful Pentalic watercolor journal that I can't find anywhere anymore. Sad. Other ones were all Arteza. I believe they're 7x7. This one's also an Arteza, Sketchbook 6. But this one, these were like 2 for something ridiculous. I mean, these were so cheap. And the paper is very cheap feeling. Like it is very cheapo paper. This one, okay, so it says done August 25th. So that means I was working on this while I was working on almost all the other ones that we've seen. So if it was slow, look how monstrous this is. So let's try to get through this one too. This should look familiar. These were my car drawings. This is during the pandemic when my husband and I would get takeout food and draw in the car a lot. More just notes and color theory stuff. My pup in all pen. Husband's profile. A gouache portrait. This was my first gouache portrait. I was like, okay, wow, I like this. I really like this. Other than the boy, the gouache portrait of the guy that I said was my favorite in this one, the guy who kind of looks shocked by something. This was the next one where I was like, okay, this is fun. This is awesome. Some more gouache portraits, just kind of messing around. I really like her. I was really intimidated by gouache portraits. Some highlighter portraits. This one I actually tabbed the ones I could show you because there were fewer that I could show you in this one than that I couldn't. And then I just did an even bigger one. I was watching Doodle Date a lot, so I was playing with highlighters a lot more. Oh God, this is so ugly. Okay, this is my ugly, cheap sketchbook. So it's not finished pieces, so please don't judge me on this one. So ugly. That's a snake, not a donut. But there's this site, I can't even remember what it's called, but you can pick a category like animals or people or poses or, you know what I mean? And it flashes through pictures every 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 1 minute or 2 minutes. And you can pick both of those. You pick all your filters and then you just draw as fast as you can. And then I put my dog, a really ugly, bad drawing of my dog right in the middle. So embarrassing. This is my dog, another car trip. Cute little turtle. That's my brush pen, my Pentel, I think, brush pen that I lost and then found again. Terrible blending. Look how bad the blending is on that. Just really, oof, really bad. I don't like just showing the good stuff. I liked these. That's just a park. Some people. The Grelin Gremlin. When you're hungry and your tummy's rumbling, you got the Grelin Gremlin. Oh, piggy goat. I love that goat. Again, apparently when I draw people, there's like some depression or sadness going on or creepiness. I don't know why. It's so, again, so different from my style when I do animals. I loved how these came out. That was really fun. I was just playing with Phthalo Blue and Pyrrole Scarlet, my Daniel Smith. A poor landscape, a poorly executed landscape. Obviously watching Arlie Bean and failing. Another not great landscape. People. I loved this little abstract landscape. I loved the colors. Obviously, right? Complementary colors, but I thought that came out really good. Creepy person. Is it blood? Is this a vampire? What is wrong with me? That's the question. Like a type of ancient Egyptian feeling face that I was making, although I really stink at skin color and skin tone. Like, I don't know what I was doing with that, but you can tell, like, look at that nose. I really was struggling with gouache skin tones. Understandable, it's hard. Couple of fun landscapes. Another person. Weird people, weird dog. More weirdness. More weirdness. Really weird. Not pretty. Okay, I don't mind that. Need more layers. Weird. Oh my God, how weird. How weird, guys. Weird. That's number 6. And we do have time for number 7, and then I think we'll be a third of the way through, so we'll be able to do 3 videos total instead of 4, because that's a lot. So during this time, I actually filled a whole Inktober sketchbook, but that's all references from Pinterest, so I can't really share it. And from the front of the book to the middle, I did my own reference selections of photos from Pinterest, and from the middle to the back, I had done Kat Volk's Cattober, and I just copied her Cattober. So again, it's just a whole book of copies. They were really fun and they're really cute, but you can just go look at Kat Volk's video and you'll enjoy that. So this was from September of last year, 2020, to November of last year, 2020. And again, I was doing the whole Inktober book during that time. So I filled a whole sketchbook with Inktober in this same period, in the middle of these 2 months. So when we're done with this, will be just over a year ago. So this is where my art was just over a year ago of drawing and painting multiple times a day, every single day. So this is just another Aurora Borealis. Couple of gorillas. That's my husband's favorite animal. He used to think he would want to work with gorillas for his career. Just a gentleman. One of my favorite pages in any of my sketchbooks. And I'm super proud of this. This is when I discovered Pexels and Pixabay from references that Mira Byler made in her videos. And so I went and found these pictures and I'm still so proud of these. So this is some of the only stuff a year ago that are still of the quality that if I made them today, I'd still be proud. I really love those. And that's my gorgeous husband. Super proud of that. In more ways than one. Proud of my husband, proud to have painted him. Just an ink. I was still playing with ink from Inktober, and I liked how that came out. Another ink. Weird. Again, weird. There's a theme when I do people versus when I do animals. Are you seeing a theme? Happy, sweet, wonderful. Weird. Creepy. This was a test page. I found that I wasn't using my Pymontite Genuine, and so I just tried to do mixes with a bunch of different colors to see if there were any mixes that inspired me, and I loved it in the mixes, so I started using it a lot more. And this was, again, sometimes I just make a little abstract or simplified landscape with whatever's left on my palette. Really ugly moose attempts and failures. Adorable bunny. I like doing florals like that, where they sort of disappear and they're just suggested. And that's a really funny, not great, super well done Shih Tzu. These are original animals that I really felt like, again, like the other one, if I did these today, I'd be just as proud. I love how these came out. I just thought they're so cute. I love bunnies. Look at this one, so fun. Oh, I think they're so cute. And they got the lock and the key. So cute. Slightly sad person, typical. Not super well done landscapes, again, typical. Seeing a theme. Another not super well done landscape. And that's it. That's a fast one because look how many were either copies or based on Pinterest references that I can't show you. So that's it for the first 7 sketchbooks, and really 8 because we're not going to do the 8th one, which is Inktober. So we're a third of the way there, people. And pretty soon, before you know it, we're going to be all the way to my current sketchbook with all of my YouTube pieces that we've done together. Oh, you haven't seen that one actually, but all the other ones you've seen in YouTube videos. So thank you so much for joining me for this first installment of my ginormous sketchbook tour. I genuinely think that 7 sketchbooks in one sketchbook tour still counts as ginormous in its own right. But we're also going to be doing all the other 14 sketchbooks that I have, and I've gotten permission from all of these artists: Lee Ellickson, Ankapura Illustration, Natasha Newton, Sandy Hester, Sarah Burns Studio, and Mr. Musette, all of whom, along with the ones we've already seen today, who I got permission for, appear in those sketchbooks. So stick around for those, and until next time, remember to create something cute.